Make just rolled out their new AI agents. I want to show you guys this completely new setup. I'm going to show you guys how to configure everything and how to use these guys. At first glance, there's a big difference with how these look inside of the Make scenario interface. The very first thing that you guys will notice is that this AI agent module is no longer just a plain circle, it's actually a hexagon. And all of these guys down below that you're seeing attached to the AI agent, these are tools. Make really wanted to simplify things. They wanted to have everything inside of one scenario interface. That way you didn't have to hop in between different tabs, different windows to configure these AI agents and then plug them into your scenario, because before you could see that's what it was. This is the configuration for an AI agent. This is what it was before. It would take you to a screen that looks like this, where you can insert your system prompt. You can add any context, so any knowledge files right here. You would add your tools right here in this window, but you'd have to go to separate scenarios to configure those tools and then come back here, add those tools. You could test it out and train it. And then if you wanted to get into the specific settings for the AI agent, maybe change your AI model, which is the brain, you had to go to this AI agents tab right here and configure everything. So it was just all over the place. And then when you were done configuring and you wanted to hook up to a scenario, you had to create a brand new scenario and then find that AI agent and hook it up like this. Now, everything is just in one scenario. If you want to add an AI agent and configure it, you just add the AI agent module, which plain looks like this. It's Make AI Agents New. It's currently in beta, so please note that as of when I'm making this video in the middle of February of 2026. Before we dive in any further, I want to first go over the core parts of what make an AI agent. There's 4 main components to what make an AI agent. Number 1, this is your brain. This is your LLM. Think of it as GPT 5.2, Claude Sonnet 4.6, Opus 4.6, Gemini 3 Fast, Gemini 3 Pro. That's what powers your AI agent. It's the brain. And then you have your system prompt, which is just a set of rules and instructions that your AI agent follows in order to receive an input, understand the context of what to do with that input, come up with a plan of action, determine which tools to use, and then generate an output and basically send it back to the user. And one of the most crucial components to an AI agent is memory, which brings me to the third component. Think of memory as how far back can you go in the chat history to look at context. How many previous messages can this AI agent load to reference for context? Can it go back and see the 10 most recent messages, 20, 50, 100 most recent messages, and pull that in as context to remember? And then you have tools. You can't have an AI agent without tools. This is what gives your AI agents the muscles to do things, to take action on your behalf. If you already knew that stuff, great. If not, now you know. Let's hop into the new AI agents inside of Make. Here's a fresh scenario for you guys. In order to find this module, it's as simple as just searching it. If you type in AI agent, it'll appear at the very top. There's only one of these, so run an agent new, select that, and it'll show up, and then you can get configuring. When you open up this window, it'll take you to the very first thing that you need to configure, which is the brain. Select your AI provider. Now, when I'm making this video again in February of 2026, this is their current status. The app is currently in beta, so the functionality and pricing may change over time, and it's available to all plans using Make's AI provider. And you also have the option to connect your own AI provider on paid plans. So what that means basically is Make.com has their own providers, their AI providers that you can choose from. I think they're open source models, but if you want to hook up to your own OpenAI account, for example, then all you have to do is create your connection by clicking add, select your AI provider. So if it's OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, etc., right? So OpenAI, give your API key, create the connection, and you're good to go. Once that's all hooked up, then you will be able to select, so let me X out of that. Then you'll be able to select which model from OpenAI in this case. We're gonna start off with GPT 5.2. And by the way, one thing to note, when you're building out any AI agent, one very important rule to always follow is start off with a more than capable model first. Once you get everything dialed in and your tools hooked up, your system prompt, start testing, and then scale it down to a cheaper model, do some more testing and see if you get the same results without sacrificing on quality. If you do, great, move it down to an even cheaper model. And then again, just repeat the process until you start seeing that your results are not up to par and the quality starts going down, right? Then bump it up to that sweet spot, find that model, but you always want to start off with a more than capable model at the very beginning. That's just one of many things that I teach regarding AI agents over in my AI community. I have 2 communities for you guys. I have a free and a paid community. If you guys are interested in the use cases of AI agents, the different types, the different structures, like single agent versus multi-agent, how to build them out securely and safely, all of that stuff, then you can find that over in the paid community in the classroom. Underneath underneath my AI agents course. I have so many more tools and resources available to you guys over here in the classroom, along with tech support with direct access to me and my team that will help you get unstuck. And above all else, if you want to start making money with AI, you want to land your first client, we're here to help you. The link for the AI communities is down below in the description. Anyway, back to the AI agent inside of Make. Once you select your model, then we go to our system prompt, which is your instructions right here, right? I just hit ASDF as a placeholder for now. This is where you paste in your system prompt. This is basically just saying, hey, your mission is this, you do this, these are your behavior rules, here's your tools list, here are your step-by-step task flows, here's a list of hard rules and don'ts, so on and so forth. And if you guys want the prompt format that I use for all of my AI agents, I have it over in the free community. I'll have the link down below for you guys. Inside of Classroom, if you just hit up free resources, and underneath this other resources section, you can find that right here, AI agent system prompt format. I have this prompt, it's a 7-step prompt format that I follow for all of my AI agents. So go grab it if you guys want. Input is the message input. So in this case, you can see I've hooked this AI agent up to Slack. It's for a fictional law firm. We'll get to that in just a sec. So it's watching for any new messages in my channel inside of Slack right here. Any new message that's received, it's pushed to our AI agent. It does its thing, and then we get a reply back in that same message thread. That's what we insert into this input field. You can hook up these AI agents to Slack, Telegram, to WhatsApp. You can hook them up to a contact form on your website. So as soon as someone fills out your contact form, immediately in real time, that response and all that data gets sent to the AI agent. Depending on what your process is, any tasks that need to be accomplished at the time of a form submission, right? If it's a new lead, you probably want to take a look at their responses, see if they have any questions, hit up your knowledge base for factual retrieval, factual knowledge, and then maybe send them a reply, send them an email in real time. Also hit up your CRM and see if they already exist or if they're a new customer, whatever, create a new record, notify the responsible parties in your team, so on and so forth. Like, these AI agents can do everything. And then remember how we talked about memory? This is where you configure it right here. So you go to advanced, you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, hit up advanced settings, and then this is where you can configure how far back in the chat history or how far back in your history your AI agent can go. So by default, I set mine to 10. Some use cases, you might require it to be 30, 40, or 50, maybe even 100 if you really need to. So make sure to configure that. Once you're done configuring everything in this window, you can click out and you can see this plus icon with 3 icons showing up right here. So we have knowledge, we have add tool, and we also have chat. So Make ultra simplified this for us. If we want to add any files that the AI agent needs to reference, we can upload it natively through Make, and it's a RAG database. It basically vectorizes the files for us. So you just click that, upload files, choose your file, right? So I have automate what knowledge base or automate what FAQs. So I can add that. It will upload to make.com, vectorize into their RAG database. And then once that's all good, I hit save. Boom. Now this AI agent can reference all of the knowledge inside of that document for factual knowledge retrieval. It's very useful and practical for small to maybe medium-sized businesses, and obviously it depends on your use case. If you're a small plumbing business, for example, you probably just have 2 or 3 documents, right? You have a frequently asked questions document, that's crucial. You probably have like a general knowledge document and then like a sheet, like a pricing sheet, pricing and product sheet or document of some sort that you hook up to this AI agent, right? You can hit save and it will show up like this. So this is your knowledge base. It essentially becomes a tool. So that's technically our first tool. If we want to hook up to other tools, we can do so again by hovering over this plus icon and then adding a tool, and a list of modules will appear for us. So if we want to schedule if we want to hook up a tool that drafts an email, right? Or sends an email, we can go to Gmail and then send an email, and then this window will appear. We give our tool a name. We always need to make sure that we're giving our tools a description. So keep it detailed, yet concise. No more than 240 characters, you can see right here. Create your connection to whatever tool you're trying to hook up. And then the cool thing is now you can let the AI agent decide for you what to input for certain fields. So the to email address, if we just want the AI agent to dynamically place and fill in this field, we can just check this box. Boom, we're good to go. If we also want it to insert a subject for us, right? Boom, we're good to go. So that's what you're going to be doing for a lot of these tools, is just letting the AI agent decide, because that's what keeps your tools dynamic. If you wish to include any attachments, maybe sometimes you do, maybe sometimes you don't. You can let your AI agent decide. Once you hit save, it'll show up as a tool down here. And you can move these tools, by the way. You can move these guys around if you really want to, all the way around this module, if you really want to. I like to stay nice and organized, so I just use the auto align icon, the tool down here, to just auto align all the tools in a nice column like you can see right here. Now let's hop over to this guy. I want to showcase this demo and go over a few more things with you guys. So if you want, before you even hook up to Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever to test out your AI agent, you can actually test it out natively inside of the Make Scenario interface. So just hover over this plus icon right here and you'll see this chat bubble. Or you can just right click on the module and say chat with agent. In any case, this window will pull up over here on the right-hand side and you can start actually interacting with your AI agent and testing out the tools, testing out how it handles conversations and questions and whatever your use case is. I'm gonna hit my agent with this question. So remember, this is for a fictional law firm, you guys. So what is the case of Jordan Matthews? I can click send. The AI agent will basically take that input, determine a course of action, determine if there's any tools that it needs to call upon and execute. So it determined that it needed to call upon and execute the Pinecone knowledge base, which is a separate knowledge database that I already created. I'll go over that with you guys in a sec, and then basically get back to us with a factual reply. So you can see Jordan Matthews was a personal injury auto accident case. We handled that, settled pre-suit, and then all the information that we need, right? And then I could go as the team member that's probably using this tool and interacting with this AI agent. I could be like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh wait, hang on. Who were all the drivers affected, or who were all the drivers involved? So I could say, who were all the drivers involved again, because I can't remember all the parties that were involved. It'll again go hit up the RAG database and then get back to me with a factual reply. Or it didn't need to, because you can see in this case, it already had that context loaded into it from the previous run. So remember, this is why memory is very important. I didn't have to reference Jordan Matthews again or any of that. The context from the previous histories and all of the data that it previously retrieved from the knowledge base was already there in the history that it had access to, so it didn't need to even hit up the knowledge base, because it was there from the very first run that we did. Anyway, if that makes sense, it got back to us saying that there were 3 drivers, which is correct. There was Jordan Matthews, he was our client, he was the victim. Derek Lawson was the person at fault, and then there was actually an innocent third party named Erica Torres, and it shows all their cars that they were driving, all that stuff. So this is really cool stuff. What if I want to follow up with Jordan and see how he's doing? I can just ask my AI agent to do that. Can you draft an email to Jordan asking how he's doing? I'm going to send that off, and then we're going to see what tools it calls upon and see how it handles. So you can see it looked up the law firm CRM, probably to grab Jordan's email address. And then after that, it basically drafted up the email based on the context and then used the draft email tool down here. And if we go over into my email in the drafts folder, we should see a draft email to Jordan just checking in, right? So correct email address that we got from our CRM tool, which is our Google Sheet. Subject line, checking in. Hey Jordan, just wanted to check in, see how you've been, blah, 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 all that stuff. Best Mason. Cool stuff, right? Now this is of course just testing it natively within make.com, their scenario interface right here. The whole goal of building out an AI agent on Make, or any platform for that matter, whether it's N8N or Zapier, the whole goal is to never have to log into Make to interact, to find the scenario and then interact with your agent. You want to hook it up to a tool that you already use every single day, such as Slack, Telegram, WhatsApp, etc. Now I'm utilizing Pinecone as my RAG database instead of the make.com knowledge base right here. So yes, you can use this, but it has its limitations, and here's why. So here's the current limitations with the knowledge base built in with Make agents. So these are the supported text files. It's pretty standard stuff. We have TXT, PDF, Word doc, CSV, MD, and JSON files. And the file size and quantity, you can only do 20 megabyte maximum per file or 20 files maximum per agent. So for many use cases, this works. We're good, we're in the green, that's awesome. But for a law firm that wants to ingest all of their documents and maybe all of the emails and all of the meeting transcripts, so on and so forth. You can't use the built-in knowledge base practically for that use case. So that's when you would utilize a third-party tool such as Supabase or Pinecone. That's my favorite, Pinecone. And you'd basically hook up your automations to ingest. So you'd have like a content ingesting pipeline that anytime a file gets uploaded to a specific folder, or anytime a new email is received, or anytime a meeting is had, all of that is ingested into this Pinecone, this RAG database. And then, yeah, we can utilize that. So it vectorizes everything. There's also these other limitations depending on what plan you're on with Make. I told you guys I would come back to this tool really quick. This is the Pinecone knowledge base. You can see this looks a little bit different than just like a standard module like Google Sheets or the Google Calendar or Gmail, right? This is actually calling a scenario. So this is one of those use cases where you actually do have to build out a separate scenario, a separate workflow inside of Make, and then you can call upon and execute that from right here. You basically just use the call a scenario module. So you open this up, you search for that scenario in your Make organization, and then from there, if there's any scenario inputs, you can let the AI agent decide what to input. So let me open this up and show you what this scenario looks like. Again, this is for Pinecone. This is what it looks like. So anytime this tool is executed, we're creating embeddings for the search query, basically. We're creating vector embeddings for that, and then we're hitting up Pinecone to basically compare those vector embeddings and grab all of the most relevant chunks of information from our lengthy knowledge base, such as who were all the drivers related in the Jordan Matthews incident or the Jordan Matthews case, or how much was Jordan Matthews charged for his MRI medical bill, something like that, right? It grabs all the relevant chunks for us and then basically sends that back in a string. So we're aggregating everything, sending it back in a string to our parent scenario, or the scenario that we just called upon from. It's sending all of that relevant context back to our AI agent, and then our AI agent can basically receive that and just move forward with the plan of action. Once you've configured all your tools, your system prompt, you've tested it out a bit, now it's time to move it into production. You hook it up to your third-party tool. So in this case, we're using Slack. We're watching for new messages. We're only passing messages that are users and not bots, right? So we're sending those over to the AI agent and then sending a reply back. Let's hop over into Slack. I want to show you guys really quick what this looks like by hooking up this AI agent to a specific channel in our Slack account. So in our Slack organization, anyone can interact with this agent. So anyone on the team in this fictional law firm, they can come to this channel and they can interact with our AI agent for knowledge retrieval or for tasks. So if we send what's Emily's current caseload, we wait for the AI agent to do its thing, and then it gets back to us with a reply. Emily White's current caseload is 4 active matters. So because the AI agent replied to us in a thread, I can carry on the conversation right here. So I want to review all of them with her tomorrow on a quick 15-minute call. Can you draft an email for me? I can send that off. The AI agent is going to receive that input, and then based on its memory, the context in its memory, it can go back and determine, when I say her, I must be referencing Emily, and then it can go off and do its thing. So it came back and said the draft email was created for Emily. It looked up Emily's information and then drafted up the email based on the context of our history. So based on our previous chats. Hopping over into my email, we can see that new draft is created with the correct email address. We also have the subject line, and we also have that body of the email. So I can just quickly review it and then click send. Now, if you want to hook up to your AI agent, if you don't want to have to really approve the messages or go into your email and then send the draft email, you can just swap out this module down here. You can swap out this tool to be, instead of a created draft email, it could be send an email. So just know that you have that flexibility. There's a lot of things that these AI agents can do. We'll send one more message just for fun. So I'll say, book the call in for tomorrow at noon, please, because I sent the draft email, or I sent the email to Emily. She replied back. I got a response, and then I'm just gonna, I hit up my AI agent in the same thread again, and I'm just saying, hey, book the call in for tomorrow at noon, please. So based on the chat history, it has enough context to know what to do, and then it'll get back to me once the job is complete. So booked for tomorrow, February 18th at 12 o'clock, so at noon. If we go into my calendar, we can see that we should be able to see that at noon, and Emily should be invited as a guest, as an invitee. So we have that right there. Quick 15-minute call to review Emily's current caseload. Anyway, that's enough for today, so go take it for a spin. And if you guys want this template for the blueprint files so that you can just build off of this or see how I configured everything, especially with the Slack configuration, because I didn't go over everything there, then just hit up my AI community. I'll have the link for it down below in the description, and you can find it in the classroom. Hit that like button for me, you guys, and if you haven't subscribed already, why not? My name is Mason, by the way, in case you guys don't know me. I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now, building out AI automations and AI agents and implementing them inside of businesses. It's been so much fun, this whole journey. I love teaching this content to people as well. So you're gonna wanna subscribe to my channel because I have so much content coming this year regarding AI agents. Thanks, guys.